Assalamu alaikum. This is Afshan Khan. Continuing with the parenting, and we noticed a few times I brought up the word about self-confidence and self-esteem, especially self-esteem. And I've said this has to be nurtured. And one of the ways you can nurture self-esteem is very important to build very, very early on in a child's life. Because if you have low self-esteem, and this is what I've seen from my experience, is that you have a lack of control over your life. And I have seen many people being controlled, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in marriage, whether it's by extended families, is because sometimes our own self-belief is very, very low. And again, most times I've related it back to childhood. So this is very important what I'm going to be sharing with you today, because obviously having a strong child, a strong ummah, this is all connected. It's very, very important that we have a strong belief in ourselves, in our identity of who we are. So the main thing that I see that can sometimes, there's many factors, but the main thing I see sometimes is how we talk to our children. So, and perhaps I'll talk about the next video about discipline. But just to touch on this is sometimes we don't realize what we are saying. And the last video I did was on communication and picking the times and picking the words and making sure that you're available for your child. But this is sometimes the words that we use, and this will impact greatly on what's happening in your life as parents. Remember, I always focus on the parents, because if you're very busy or something's happened in your life, the child will react to it. And then sometimes we don't even realize why the child is reacting. For example, if they're playing up, if they're being what people call extra naughty, not listening, it's always good to take a step back and think, okay, what's happened recently? Have we just moved house? Have they got a new school? Is something happening at school they'll talk to me about? So they're waiting. They're waiting for you to ask them. They're waiting for you to pick up the signs. And sadly, many times I've heard my clients telling me that, so much had happened in their life and their parents didn't know about it. So, but, the signs were there. For example, especially when you have eating disorders, children will stop eating because it's a form of control over their life, and parents won't pick up on it. And I always ask them, well, did you not sharing family meals anymore? Or is your parents haven't noticed, your mother hasn't noticed that you haven't eaten? No, nobody knows that I don't eat anymore. I eat perhaps just a very rare amount, until obviously they've lost extreme weight and then they're been hospitalized and they've been diagnosed with anorexia. So the words we use in communication is very important, and we're sometimes very, mainly obviously because we have our own tribulations and stress or whatever going on, and we don't realize what we're saying, and we react to a child very, very quickly. So we may shout at them, say something, but the words they use will impact them till way, way onto adulthood. So they take root into childhood, and then later on they will think that about themselves, and in the adulthood they will think this is exactly who I am. So for example, things I've heard in my counselling, telling a child that they're going to fail, they're stupid, they're always going to get things wrong. So perhaps sometimes it's our own worry and our own negative thinking that we will sometimes put on a child, and they will begin to think the same way. And many, many words that I've heard clients tell me that as a child they were labelled. Sometimes even the way they look. Yes, we don't know what impact it has on them. And this would be a really good time to highlight how sometimes this would affect a marriage. For example, growing up, your family said something about your nose. And then at school, somebody said to you something about it as well, and then you're very sensitive about the way you look. You have your self-belief in your looks isn't very good, and then you get married, and suddenly your husband said something, and he may be saying it in a very playful way. He may be joking with you, but he makes fun of the way that you look, and that's it. For him, it's nothing, but for you, it's everything. So, can you see how interlinked relationships are, and the way they form your opinions you form about yourself? Sometimes they go way, way back. Now, the husband doesn't know that why she's making such a big deal about it, so I mentioned this. And I've heard people say that, well, I don't know why she's reacting or why he's reacting to this, but then only I would know there's a root to this problem that goes way, way back, why this person is very sensitive about certain topics. So what I call putting seeds in a child's mind. And many times I describe parenting as a fertile land. And this is so important for us to realize whatever we put into a child's life at this young age, this is it's like a seed that will grow. So it can be a seed of positivity, it can be a seed of encouragement, it can be a seed that they can achieve anything, or it can be a seed that never actually flourishes because you've put so much stuff around it that it's just going to suffocate and die. So the words that we use really impact on our child's life. Use really good and positive words. Make sure if you are angry, then not to say anything, to walk out the room. And I always give tips around this, but always use positive words. Do not label a child. Just because our child is darker doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. And if we continue on this path, we will actually destroy their self-esteem completely. So just to reiterate, be very, very mindful of your words. Be very mindful of what you're saying to them. If you do not belittle a child because of a certain way they look or about their weight, but if you feel there's a problem, then talk to them about it. And you don't just take fun out of them just for any reason, because again, they will become very sensitive and they will react. So really use positive words and try not to discipline a child when you're very, very angry, because that's when those words will come out. So this is about putting seeds in their mind. Make sure you nurture good seeds and you put good things in their mind, so later they will blossom into that lovely plant that we were talking about. This is Afshan Khan. I hope today's video has been beneficial. Thank you for watching the video. If there's any other subjects or any comments or questions, please do leave a comment or a question below and I'll get back to you. Jazakallah khair for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.